Well, that special kind of spoiled some stuff about the ending. Thanks, ABC. Oh, hey everyone, this is Joe from ActionX. Welcome to a very delayed, I apologize, on the newest episode review of High School Musical, the music of the series here on What's on the Tube. I apologize again that I am late as hell for this episode review. I think this is the most I've been late. I can explain. So my original plan was to get this out by Friday night. It did not happen. When this episode came out, I was in the midst of planning my Christmas event, my annual Christmas event, which was also an inconvenient timing because I was also going to see Rise of Skywalker that night, as well as I had a ton of present shopping to do hours beforehand, as well as by the time I came back, I had a lot of stuff to get ready for the actual event on Saturday. And Saturday, I literally had no time to record the review, and I'm just having the time to do this now here on Sunday night. So hopefully, this is going to get uploaded on Monday. I hope to God, because I am really far behind. As a little bit of a appeasement, I'm going to give you something a little bit extra. Now, again, this is a bit extra. I'll talk about the second half of it on the next episode. So before I get to my thoughts on this episode of High School Musical, the musical, the series, which was the Thanksgiving episode, which is conveniently horribly timed that this is coming out literally days before Christmas. So I'm not sure if this is Disney Plus's error or they were being tongue-in-cheek. Either way, it was a holiday episode, but anyway, well, let's just get down to, before we get to the episode review, I commented on the last episode of High School Musical, the music of the series, in terms of the episode review for that one on What's on the Tube. I talked about how ABC and Disney were going to be airing a special television special on High School Musical, the music of the series, which was going to be a behind-the-scenes look at the show, the making of the special, for some weird reason. I was not planning on checking it out because I was busy as hell that week, and it apparently came on Disney Plus. So I watched, I think, a good about half of it right now, which was kind of a mistake because it spoils a couple of elements of the last three episodes of the current season. So I won't. Now, I'm going to give you guys a spoiler warning before we continue here, and I'll let you guys know when we come back. So, if you had seen the special, you understand what I'm talking about. But if you haven't seen the special, and you want to be surprised in certain cameos and certain endings, please do not watch the next 3 minutes. I will give you the warning when we are, or you can just skip ahead or something like that. I'm not really sure. Anywho, so the High School Musical, the musical, the series, the special, talked about, the opening montage of the half-hour special, started with scenes, I'm presumably from the finale of the season, where we get to see the musical portion, and it would have been something I would have loved to see at the end. And I guess they were trying to hype people up, like we were going to get this moment, but it's not coming out till the next year, which is kind of a bummer for me since I was really hoping to not see anything till then. Again, I didn't know. No one on Twitter, no one I follow had talked about it, so. Leave it as day. But I honestly know they were going to do this. I just wanted to see the first footage for myself the first time when I see the finale in January. But oh well, it was ruined. And also a cameo that is going to take place in the show itself, which was inadvertently leaked by the soundtrack. But then apparently I thought that it was just for the soundtrack, since we got the cameo from the other cameo we got last week with during the Miss Chen trial. We got that cameo, so I assumed that was the cameo they're talking about. So I wasn't expecting another cameo. We are getting another High School Musical cameo, and in terms of the legacy character, this is actually one of the big six, which was Ryan. Ryan's going to be on the show, not as Ryan, but as the actor himself, Lucas Gabriel, will be cameoing. I'm believing on next week's episode, the next episode. I'm assuming. I could be wrong on that, or it should be somewhere before the finale. I don't think they're going to squeeze that in by the finale, because the finale is already doing enough, as is with the characters themselves. I don't think they're going to put that in, but it's cool. The special did actually make me see a little bit more of the actors, and again, could they be playing up for the camera? Because I have seen instances where actors join these big franchises, or at least memorable franchises, but have no prior history with the franchise, and they just lie about it just to gain the trust of fans. But honestly, with this cast, from what I'm hearing from these interviews, is from the special, is that, oh damn, these actors have actual history with the franchise, and now they're doing their best to honor the legacy of the franchise, as well as do something different with the source material and form their own legacy. And that's what the show's been so far perfectly doing in the last couple of episodes, as well as I'm about to get into with this episode, what this episode also does, trying to do its own thing, but as well as respecting the memories of the original trilogy, and I love it. I really did enjoy it. I'm not done with the special yet. I had to cut through because I got to record this and I got some other stuff to do beforehand. So I'll see the second half of it later, and I'll comment if there's anything memorable on the next episode review. But with that being said, shout out to Disney and ABC for putting together that special, and I can't wait to see Ryan jump back into the show when we come back. Okay, spoiler warning down. All right, let's get to the actual episode review. So my overall beginning thoughts: another strong episode in the series. After the rebirth, as I like to call it, from episode 5, it is continuing on a very good pace. Couple of eyebrowing decisions they made, and it definitely sets the stage up for the last 3 episodes to be a bit different and a bit questioning in terms of the future of certain characters. And I'm really enjoying it. So anyway, let's get through the butchered recap. So, again, now the thing is that I've seen this episode 2 days ago. Going into 3, so I'm going to try my best to remember most of it. Again, this is the one problem I have whenever I delay doing these reviews, because it requires me to remember. My memory isn't my best tool, so my butchered recap is about to be very more butchered than ever before. So, let's get to it. So, we start off with a comment I made the last 2 weeks is that we've kind of barely been not focusing on the musical itself. It was episode 5 was the homecoming dance, so everyone's focused on homecoming, and then last week's episode was about Miss Jen's trial, so everyone just forgot about the musical, just focused on those things. So we're finally getting back to the musical itself. For a bit, we got to see Ricky and Nene perform one of the pivotal songs in the movie near the climax. So I'm assuming this is going to be in the final act, and it's kind of it's not perfect. They do need some fine tuning there. Again, this is why we have rehearsals, and this episode definitely does, because another complaint I had with last week's episode was the fact that the comment Ricky made that they were all a family. For me personally, being a family man, I did not believe that was earned. I definitely believe these guys had the potential to be a family. At least for me, from what we got in those episodes so far, I did not see them even becoming close to a family. They had good moments, but I don't think they were a family. This episode definitely took what I was saying and definitely flipped it, where it's no, they are a family. And that was the one thing I liked, that we got to see them rehearse while everyone else was kind of doing something else in terms for the musical, which I guess you could say well, that's kind of poor craftsmanship, since the main stars are trying to do their best to rehearse and everyone else is trying to do their own thing. But I guess since Nene and Ricky were kind of letting it be and everything's fine, it definitely just showcased that there was a sense of family camaraderie growing between the group as we get closer and closer to the actual musical itself. However, the bell rings and rehearsal starts because it's time for Thanksgiving break. EJ kind of overly expresses excitement over it. Whether or not he still doesn't want Ricky and Nene to end up together, or maybe he just really doesn't want to be in school anymore, is totally up to, again, EJ. Another week where it's we're still figuring out him. I'm still trying to figure out what is EJ's purpose anymore in this show, since he's not with Nene, he's not fighting for Nene, he's not really doing anything. And this week kind of it gave a couple of hints of where we could take the character next in a post non-dating Nene environment, but it definitely did question, at least for me, why is he still on the show? No offense to the actor. The actor, again, from what I've seen for the special, is a very cool guy. He's very energetic into the material. It's just that, at least in the past 3 weeks, I haven't really seen him get any character direction whatsoever. Miss Jen does remind everyone to rehearse during the break and just keep at it. And so everyone else they're all leaving for Thanksgiving. We get to see Ashley and Carlos kind of have a moment together and talk about, hey, so these are our Thanksgiving plans whatsoever. And Ashley's bringing up that since Ashley and EJ's parents are kind of doing their own thing after the dinner, Ashley's house is kind of free. So that kind of obviously means let's have a party on Thanksgiving, which it's weird because I never heard of anyone throw a party on Thanksgiving Day, because that's kind of a family day. But I guess if you want to really push it that Ricky said that we're all family here, I guess. I don't really see it, but everyone's invited, so it's going to be a whole feeder group party on Thanksgiving at Ashley's house. We get to see a bit of everyone else's Thanksgivings. We get to see Ricky and his dad kind of having some butchered Chinese takeout Thanksgiving dinner. They're at a good place right now. They're not like overly excited about their current predicament, but they're not like miserable or anything. But the one thing that Ricky still has to go through that in this post-divorce environment is that his mom, since his mom presumably is alone in Chicago, the first Thanksgiving they're not together as a family, and Ricky's dad is imploring him to kind of like at least call his mom up at least for a few minutes, kind of catch up a little bit, give her some good things on this holiday, because again, no one likes to be alone on the holidays. And Ricky laments it for a little bit, and he actually does call her up, and then he gets a man that answers the phone, which kind of solidifies what I said in the beginning of this entire episode review journey, where when Ricky's mom was kind of just giving the excuse that she's in Chicago. Again, she's still saying Chicago. I honestly thought that she was probably cheating on Ricky's dad with someone else, and it was kind of an affair thing, and she was using her work as an excuse. But it turns out it wasn't. It was just a separation period, and she was actually looking to see if Chicago would be a good place for her. So I initially threw that out, but with this week, and considering that it is Thanksgiving, I'm assuming that something has been going on since Ricky's mom was in Chicago for such a long time. I'm assuming something went on because of this guy is with her phone. So Ricky obviously assumes the worst. He hangs up, obviously distraught over the things. Nina's having a pretty good Thanksgiving, so to speak. Her grandma's in town. She's having a pretty nice daughter-grandma moment. And it was actually pretty sweet. Got to see another side of Nene for a little bit. Have some good things going on in her life. Since, obviously, with everything going on. And we got to see EJ doing his Instagram thing, I guess. I don't know why they had to include that, but oh well. So the party's starting to happen. Everyone's convening at Ashley's house. We get to see Gina actually show up to Ricky's house, because obviously, again, this episode kind of flat out says, hey, Gina does have a crush on Ricky. She's having to get some feelings for him. Ricky is slowly, I guess, trying to have feelings for her too, but with the whole mom thing going on, he isn't exactly 100% in that camp yet. And yeah, so that's kind of how things are. They kind of have a little bit of an awkward patch. But we do get to see them actually mend it over a little bit and kind of like go along to the party. EJ, again, another purpose he serves for this episode is that he is apparently trying to make amends for his past sins for whatever reason. And he actually calls up the girl that he mildly poisons. I'm not going to say poison, has killed her. Mildly poisoned so Nene can get the lead with no competition during the summer play. He tries to get them to kind of like make up and like kind of bury the hatchet, even though she wasn't really asking for it, nor Nene was. So I'm guessing EG is a bit of a stickler for getting involved in things he shouldn't be. So that's just basically his character so far. It's basically the character. But Nene actually, there's no harsh blood between them. But this girl, which I forgot her name, she does tell Nene that despite everything that happened at the summer camp, she is actually very happy. She's at a new program. She's in a new school, new state. Kind of have a fresh start with people that just exactly like her, and she's happy. And it kind of does give Nene a bit of a sprinkle of an idea, and so remember that plot point for later. Meanwhile, at the party itself, Carlos apparently brings out High School Musical, the trivia game. Okay, so Carlos made a board game about High School Musical. They're really playing tongue-in-cheek with these High School Musical references, huh? But anyway, it's actually pretty sweet. Carlos apparently made this a decade ago in hopes that he'll get a friend group to play with him someday, and now he does. Everyone's totally on board with this. But, okay, I'm not judging him. I'm just saying, like, you made an entire board game by scratch. I'll give the guy credit. I'll give him credit. So everyone's kind of, like, convening there. Ricky and Gina showed up. And, again, the way Ricky and Gina showed up kind of, once again, did put some doubts in Nene's mind that Ricky could potentially be moving on from Nene and just moving forward with Gina as a possibility. So she is showcasing a bit of jealousy, we don't see like a full-blown jealousy reaction, we just see lingering looks of jealousy. So everyone kind of convenes for the game. It's actually kind of pretty fun. It's a pretty fun game. I would love to play that game if they ever released it. I just need to find a friend group that actually knows High School Musical for me to play it, but So everyone's having fun there. I think the more prominent moments to mention from this board game, which kind of dragged a little bit, not dragged like in a bad way, but kind of like it went on for a little bit too long than I expected. We got to see Ricky and EJ kind of have a the competition apparently, which we cut the Nini for a little bit, which is like I think this was the first time Ricky and EJ were kind of facing each other off since a long time ago when they were like fighting for Nini, and they were totally chillax about it because like there is no Nini anymore. It's like to fight over. So I mean, she's still there, but they're not focused on her anymore. They're kind of doing their own thing, which totally respect. And Gina actually now again a couple weeks ago I said a lot about Gina, about her motivations, as I was initially anticipating that this was all part of a play. This was all part of an act to kind of like this was all part of a long scheme to get the lead female role from Nini somehow by going after Ricky. That's what was my original thoughts, because like she always said like I need to be number one, I need to be the best, and I was always like for a little bit was questioning her motives. But this episode kind of showcased that no, Gina is a nice person. She's just had a lot of tough calls because her mom and her always moved around because of her mom's job. And it always required her to leave schools and kind of start fresh and never really gain a friend group or any friends at all or something of the nature. And it kind of definitely calls back to Gabriella, which I'm assuming that since Nini is kind of the de facto main female lead, considering the fact in poster she's she's usually in the center. I guess that was the expectation, but this is again another example of how this show is defying expectation, which is like, no, Nini is not Gabriella at all. She has elements of Gabriella, but she's also her own person. Similar with Gina, where she had elements of Sharpay in the beginning, but then she's slowly getting elements of Gabriella. But we're understanding it as human beings that this is a real human character. This stuff does happen, and we're getting that sort of feelings through there, and I'm really appreciating what the writers are doing with this character. We get to see Gina get invited to a sleepover, having a friend group that accepts her, and she's getting to open herself up to everyone. So it's all showcasing that Gina's kind of slowly getting a happy life and showcasing this new side of her character that, at least for me, I was never anticipating before. But like any good things, and this is a TV show, it's gotta go bad. So what can go wrong? So Gina was literally on top of the world. Her team won. Her team won the game. She got this decathlon ribbon on recreation from the movie. She takes a group selfie. Everything's great. And then she gets a call from her mom, and it's the worst news possible, since apparently they're getting moved again. And even though it hasn't even been literally 6 months yet, they just moved in. They have to move out right away. They have to move they have to move. And this all comes in horrible timing because, again, like I just said, like she just found a friend group that accepted her. She's in a musical that she loves. She potentially found someone romantically interested in with Ricky, and it's all ending. And it's actually quite horrible for her. And I kind of feel for her that she'll have to say goodbye. And they could have done the usual TV trope thing where she beats around the bush and says, no, everything's fine. She kind of like puts a facade on it, kind of like we dragged that on for maybe an episode or two, maybe before the season finale, where we get the explosion and then everything kind of just comes out, which in this case it doesn't. We immediately get the reaction. We immediately get the honest feeling where it's like, no, nothing is fine. Everything's ruined. She just leaves and go home. Ricky tries to like get her to calm down a little bit and kind of talk about it, but she doesn't want to, and she just kind of leaves. And Ricky is also in a difficult place too, because he had just let go of his mom to kind of like let her start her new life away from him, and he maybe had found at least a friend in Gina, and she's leaving, so he can't really handle all these changes, and he kind of minorly explodes at Nini, where he makes the comment that, hey, my mom just got a boyfriend literally 2 weeks after leaving us. And it's like, that's the second time that happened to me this year. Obviously a jab at Nini. And she doesn't take any, she doesn't take it. She immediately retaliates. But Ricky's like, I don't want to do this right now. I'm going to go. So they kind of just leaves Nini again at a very isolated place, especially during the holidays, since she doesn't have a boyfriend. Her best friend's off for the holidays. And while she was repairing things with Ricky, it's again at another like we're taking another step back. And so the party kind of dissipates, and I think I kind of glossed over during this entire recap. Again, this is the butchered recap, so it's about to happen. Ashley, EJ's cousin, and Big Red kind of have some feelings for each other. There's been kind of like some very, very romantic things going around between them, and this episode kind of, really dug that home, and it really kind of like, these guys would make a pretty cute couple, and Ashley is kind of in denial for a little bit because, like, maybe he's just a friendly dude. He's just nice. He doesn't have those feelings. And by the end of the episode, she's kind of like, she kind of does realize that, yeah, he does have feelings for him, and she has feelings for him. So that's going to be a very interesting direction we're going to take the last three episodes. And so we kind of see the core four in very... We're putting them in new directions, or at least questioning new directions where I'm going to be very interested to see how they're going to turn out. So on Ricky's end, Ricky was about to send an apology text to Nene, but he decides to rescind that and decides to call his mom. And I presume they're having an honest talk, and Ricky's kind of being a little bit more open or something like that. We don't get to see the call itself. Gina is already packing up. She's already accepting she lost, that it's not going to happen. She's going to move away, and she's just crying. Her mom's comforting her, but it's a horrible feeling to have when you have to leave. Then we get to see Nene kind of isolated on her own because, again, she's pretty much like can't really confide in anyone in this right now. So she kind of has to release this energy for making a new song. And EJ kind of is hitting like a weird Instagram like decline because like he's losing followers. He's not getting as much comments on his video. He's kind of getting some negative comments. So it's kind of like all he had left after the Nene breakup and after kind of losing out on the quest to get Ricky off the musical was his Instagram video and personality, and that's even declining. So I guess he's starting to have an identity crisis where what is he now? Because here we see a high school senior who's kind of in a very distraught place, slowly losing everything. So where do we see that character go next? So that definitely sets a very interesting stage for the character when we come back in the next episode. And yeah, that kind of... Well, and the last thing is that Nene is kind of has this photo web behind her bed, and she kind of takes down her pictures of with EJ and with Ricky and kind of replaces them with a picture of her grandma and the cat and the poster recreation from the last episode. And she looks online and she sees the program that the other girl from the summer camp kind of like hinted towards her, and she's considering applying to there and kind of getting a fresh start away from East High. And that's where we end the episode. So so again, a very memorable, a very great episode. I very much enjoyed it. This definitely pushed the characters in a new direction. It definitely made me feel for Gina and Ricky. And so far, what they're doing with these characters in the second half has been very great. I'm very much enjoying things. But we do need to get back to the musical. I mean, we have a musical to prepare for. We haven't really seen much focus on that. Thankfully, the promo for next week's episode seems to like hint towards that. And now that I just realized, we had a Miss Jen subplot where she was bonding with the douchebag teacher. And they kind of have a sweet moment together where they kind of are vulnerable because they're both lonely. And they both realizing that, hey, we do have some stuff in common, but they kind of make a mistake and they leave something on, and it's going to cause a fire hazard. So, how does that end up next week? We'll find out. But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I really did, and I really hope the last 3 episodes deliver strong. And I can't wait for the next episode for the last of this year, and then we have 2 more episodes in 2020. So, can't wait to see how this season ends. And so, 2 thumbs up on my books. And that's going to do it for me for this week. So if you're figuring out what's coming up on the overall What's on the Tube, again, we are on hiatus with our Rookie and Nancy Drew season reviews. Episode reviews of the current seasons. They're on hiatus until when we come back in the new year. I have recorded a Riverdale season 1 through 4 brief series review of how far and how different the show has changed in the past 4 years. The past 4 seasons, 3 years technically. It's weird when you come in mid-season, that sort of thing. So that'll be coming out hopefully soon. I really don't know when that's coming out. I gotta edit that down. I gotta find time. I do also want to take a break. I do need a break of some sort because having dealt with school and then finals and then holiday planning, and I'm not done with holiday planning yet until after Christmas is over. So There's still much more stuff for me to do, but I will persevere and persist, and I will get that up sort of soon. I'm still thinking about other stuff I should be doing meanwhile in the hiatus, as well as preparing for the 2020 year for ActionX, which hopefully will be a big one. Hopefully will be another memorable one, but we'll talk about more of that when we come back in the new year. But if you don't care about that, and you just care about High School Musical, the music of the series, I will be back, hopefully on time, this Saturday with the next episode review for episode 8. And that will be the last one for 2019. We have 2 more in 2020. And then once we wrap up the last episodes, I will be doing a season 1 review where we just talk about the whole first season. And then I'll be doing a season 2 prediction video after that. So that should carry us over to January, which will coincide with hopefully the next show that will be replacing the time slot. But we're jumping really far ahead here. You'll hear all about that in the 2020 update video next month. But that's kind of giving you a tease of what's to come. But no matter what, there's still going to be High School Musical, the series content for the next 5 weeks. So don't worry about that. Anywho, that's going to do it for me, guys. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you were unaware, this was What's on the Tube from ActionX. If you want to see more of What's on the Tube, please subscribe to ActionX. Ring the bell for notifications when we have a new video live. Like, favorite, share the video if you please. I'm going to go and finish the special and then probably edit this down and then get some sleep. That's going to do it for me, guys. Peace out.